Okay, so we brought one animation in. We brought the character first and the animation second. So that's important. You bring the animations first with the bones, and then the animations without the skin. And we just tested it by throwing it in here on the level. Um, and then when you hit play or play the level, you can see the animation playing. But this is not actually how we're going to use the animations. What we need to do is create a level sequence to be able to use them, because right now we only have one animation. So what we're going to do is create a bunch of animations in a sequence. And I want you to have an idea of what your classmates have done on the bus. This class has been done only once before, and kind of introducing you to Unreal. It's a little experimental because, like I mentioned, the school wants to move in that direction. But I'll show you what your classmates have done, so you can get an idea. So it has to be longer than 1 second, obviously, the animation, but so I don't miss it if I sneeze. And it can be up to 10 seconds or longer if you want to. Don't make it too long. But for example, this is an animation one of your classmates made. So he said, "It's the story of my last day at." He was working at a place, and he said it was his last day, so he broke one of those. What are those things called? I can't remember what they're called anymore. I have it on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember. But yeah, so that's the story he came up with. It's the last day at his job. The pallet, breaking the pallet. Thank you. Yeah, the pallet. So it's pretty short. This is another one. This student decided to use some of the lighting techniques he learned on the lighting assignment, and he made the environment look very different from what it is, just with a few lights here and there. And that's it. It's really short. So there's an archer, and there's a regular guy just walking in, and he gets nailed by the archer. Um, this one, I think it was one of your classmates said that he went riding his jeep close to Area 51, so he wanted to make a story of him hitting an alien and driving his jeep around the desert. And then the alien is dancing Thriller for some reason while chasing the jeep. So yeah, so they don't have to be too elaborate, but I do want you to remember all the you have learned so far. So you learned to create realistic assets. So if you needed to, you could create one from scratch. You made low poly assets first, and then you texture something in Substance Painter, which has realistic textures, which can make your object look realistic. Now you could put this asset in Unreal, or you can use pre-made assets to create your scenes. So right now we're just trying to be more like an art director, and creating a whole look to the little animation. So you can use lights for that, or you can use the placing of the camera. Um, but first you need to have your environment and then your character with your animation. So like I said, we have one character and one animation in here. So we need to have the character in a level so it becomes an actor. So what we're going to do now is create a level sequence. So if you look, there's this little movie slate up here, and you can say add a level sequence. And first, Unreal is going to ask you, where do you want to save that sequence? I'm going to put it on my folder. You can name it whatever you want. But you will see how your classmates did this. So you already know how to rig your character. Where's my level sequence? Oh, it's right here at the bottom for some reason. So I'm going to move it out here on the top. We need to add this character to the sequence. So if you click on add, you say add actor to track. And there it is, Romper Lady. And actually, it'd be better if we add just the bones first. So you grab the skeletal mesh. So there's the animation sequence that is nothing. That's just the T-pose. The physics assets and the skeleton. We want the actual skeletal mesh. So I'm gonna drag this in and delete this one. So this becomes an actor. So I'm gonna go back to the sequencer and add that actor. So I'm gonna click add actor to track. And it's Romper Lady. There it is. So now I have my lady here, but there's no animation on it. And this animation is only 147 frames or 65, I guess, total. You can't change it by typing a number here. Say you want 250 frames. That will make it 250 frames, and you can zoom out in here with this bar at the bottom and move the ending to that point. So now you have all this time you can use. What we need to do, we have the character here, we need animations for it. So if I click on the plus sign here by animation, I can see the animations I brought for that character. So I'm gonna bring Romper Lady talking. So and the nice thing about this is you can bring it and move it where you want it. So see, it's first on the T-pose, and then when I get to the animation clip, the bones move to that position and start animating. So I can grab more animations in here. Let's say, I don't know. You can take your pick here, but let's say this one, texting and walking. For some reason it's not refreshing here. Let me just refresh the browser here and try it again. Animations, walking. Well, let's try this one. There we go. I don't know what happened. The browser froze for a second. So it is now animating. So you could have it be in place and move it in Unreal. Let's look for something that moves a little more. Let's say, let's do this one. I think it moves a little more. So yeah, that one walks a little more. So I'll add this one. We'll say download, and we'll say without skin. That's very important. And we'll download it. So I'm just gonna put mine on the desktop, just so I can find it easy. But you would probably want to make a folder, or you can create a folder with all the stuff you're using in your project. And I'm gonna put something else in here. Let's say, so you can see you can do. Let's do a running for. So you can see the difference. So okay, so we'll say this fast run. We'll download it and we'll make this one in place. So I just want to show you that you can animate in Unreal too. So we'll say download without skin. Now I'll just put it here. Romper. Let's run and save. So now in Unreal, I'm going to import those two. So I can close this now. I'm gonna go to my content browser, and here's all my stuff. So I'm going to bring those two in. So I'm gonna say import to current folder, desktop. Let's see, Romper Lady talking. There it is. Texting and walking. And I have to make sure in here on the skeletal mesh that I'm picking my bones that I already have in here. So it's selected by default, but if it's not, you want to switch it to it. So we'll say import, and then I'll bring the other one. The other one's running fast, I think. Yeah, there it is. If you do change anything on your mesh, the rig will not work anymore. So you'll have to put it through put it through Mixamo again. Alright, so I have my two animations in here. I'm gonna click unsave and save them. And now they're saved. And I'm gonna go back to my sequencer. So I have my one animation in here. I can start bringing more animations. I'm gonna click, let's say the texting and walking. So see, the nice thing about this is you can put one animation right after the other. And it will switch between one and the other. Right, so actually let's move it like this. So she's talking first and then starts walking. So if you see in here, it kind of jumps from one position to the other. So let's move this to the beginning so we don't see the T-pose. And it kind of jumps from one to the other, right? So the nice thing about Unreal is that you can grab your second clip here and overlap the first one. And Unreal is going to look at the position of the bones, and it's going to, in between the positions of the bones. So say, okay, your foot's here, on the next clip is over here. I'm going to in between the two of them. So if you look in here, it's starting to move to the position of where the bones are on the next clip. So you just have to drag the clip to the same track here and overlap them a little bit, and Unreal is gonna make them work. And then let's bring the other one too. So let's bring the fast run. And I'm gonna put it over here. And let's see if it's moving. Okay, so see the fast run is not matching the last step of the walk. And even if you overlap it, it'll kind of jump from back here from 0 to where the walk ends. Point. See? So what you can do is you can click on this clip and say match a bone with the previous clip. So let's say it ended on this foot, that's the right foot there. We're gonna say match this clip position or to where this right foot is at the last frame. So if you right click on it, you'll see this menu show up. Let me get some water here. And see it says in here, match this bone with the one on the previous clip. So I'm gonna look for the right foot in here, right hand. Oh, did I miss it here? Where is it? Right hand, right shoulder. There it is, right foot. So now the foot, the clip is gonna try to match. See, is match the last position of the. Let's see where the switch is. Right there. See, the foot is trying to match, and I can actually overlap them a bit too, so it's a little better, the transition. And see, you might get clips like this that are moving in place. They're not actually advancing. You can actually open the clip here, and well, you can see the transform down here. So this is similar to After Effects, or if you've used any kind of timeline, where you can set up a keyframe here on the clip. It'll say this location here, which direction are we going? So this would be Y, I guess. Let me hit W so I can see. Okay, so yes, the Y direction. So I'm gonna put a clip in here. I'm in a keyframe, and say remember that position at the end of the clip. Let's say over here, I can move the animation forward. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. Oh, I need to set the next keyframe here. So I'm gonna click on the little diamond to set a new keyframe. So, and now I'm gonna go to the last frame and just drag it on the Y axis here. Hopefully that's enough. No, it's not enough. Okay, so Let me just adjust it by hand, I guess. Okay, maybe a little bit more. But see, you can also animate by hand. Say that much. So see, the clip was not moving, but I can animate it by hand, like sliding, like just like the old 2D animations. You would slide a layer across the environment. So you can do that by hand in here on location. There's a rotation too. You can rotate the clip, which in this case is a 3D clip, or scale it if you choose to. I don't know what you would do that, but you know, you can get creative. So this is basically how you're gonna come up with a little story here. Other than adding lights to your scene, let's say you can click in here on the plus sign and look for lights, and you'll have to apply all that you've learned when you were copying the movie scenes. So let's say I want a point light in here or a spotlight. You know, there's my spotlight. I can move it over to where my character is. There it is. So this is pretty similar to what you used in Maya. You know, most 3D programs will have the same type of lights. So if you look on the details here, you'll see the color and the power is down here. Let's say chaotis. So attenuation, intensity is what you want. So there's your pink light, you know. There is area lights, which are called rectangular lights in here. So let's see, rectangular lights, spotlights, point lights, and directional lights, which are like the sun. You also have the light of the scene itself, which is, I think it's this one. Yeah, there's the skylight. So that one also has an intensity. So if you wanted a darker scene, well, if you're inside of a room, you won't see that light. But if you're outside and want a weaker light, there is an intensity in here you can turn down if you want to create a different mood. Oops. So you can look for lights in here and see what else comes up. Sometimes there's more lights in there. So there's a directional light also that's giving you this shadow this way. So you can bring that one down too, you know, and kind of darken your scene. So you just have to use your creativity. You know, you have animations that are for free. You have a character that you either made or downloaded, and the assets you can arrange around the scene. So this should get you an idea of what is coming, so you can get prepared for it. You can say, okay, this is the environment I need. This is the animations I need. The animations are limited. I mean, you don't have everything you want, but there's plenty of them on Mixamo to come up with a story. So this is just to prepare you in case you want to create animations like this quickly. You know, if you were in a production and you have motion captures already, there's a lot of motion capture online, and you have a character, you can get your character moving in no time, right? And you wouldn't have to wait for a render to see what's happening. You can see it real time. Oh, the environment here, the ground, if you remember, we we just created this ground really quick. I forgot to talk about that. Let me just delete it to make a new one here. So let's say landscape. You just you just need to create one. So we'll say manage new one. There it is. We'll say create. So after you create your landscape, it will look like this. It'll be gray and have that grade on it, and you can right away you're back to sculpting. There is ways to add textures to or map materials to this landscape, but it's a little complex, so we're gonna keep it simple. So I'm gonna go back to selection in here and select the ground, and we can just add a material here. You can look on the details. It's gonna tell you what material it has. If you look in here, material, and it should have anything on it. So select it here. So here's the material. There's nothing on it, obviously. It's just the checker pattern, but you can download one from online. Let's say from Fab, we'll look for dirt material, and we want the free ones, so we'll say I'll show free products. Let's say this one is good enough, so we'll add it to project. So it's in here somewhere. Is this it? Materials, there it is. So let me save, and you can add it. You can usually you can grab this and add it to objects on the scene, but it's a little bit different on the landscapes, the use sculpt. So you have to select it and then look for the material in here and bring it over. Let's see. So let me try that again. There it is. And you can do it like that for all of them pretty much. There's other ways to make this look better. But for what we're doing, I think this should be good enough. Oops. Okay. Sometimes the tiling is way too small, like in this case. It's very small. But we're not gonna get into it. It's kind of a little over this class, you know. If you're going into the gaming class, you'll deal more with Unreal. But another thing I wanted to mention is if you wanted to animate, let's say this light on the sequence, if you wanted to animate the power of it, you just have to add the actor of it. So let me let's say add that actor here. Add actor track is add spotlight, because I have selected. Now you have that spotlight in here, and you can animate the intensity in here. So let's say we create a keyframe for intensity, and then we go over here and change it with another keyframe. You can turn the power down. Now that will play on the animation itself. See? So anything you want to animate on your sequence, you have to add it as an actor here. And to be an actor, it has to be on your level also. Okay, so we'll leave it to here for now. Next time I'll show you how to render this. It's instant. Let's save our scene here and save everything else.